Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday to you. It is my prayer that you had an incredible Sunday today. I hope you had a great worship experience. So listen, go ahead and come on in. I'm excited about tonight. I'm truly, truly excited about tonight. So again, good evening and welcome. Come on in and join in the discussion. I promise you that, look, you are going to be extremely blessed and you are going to walk away tonight re-energized, right? Hey, it's November. We're heading into the last of 2020, thank goodness, right? And so listen, I want to make sure that tonight you are blessed, and when you walk away, you are going to be re-energized. And so tonight, um, it is my prayer, right? It is my prayer that you walk away, or I should say, it is my prayer that the spirit of wisdom, the spirit of understanding, the spirit of knowledge falls upon you. And so, as more and more people are joining in, do me a favor. Go ahead and type in your name so I can go ahead and give you a shout out. And then I want you to take a moment, like right now. Like right now, okay? I want you to take a moment and share this broadcast so many other people can see it. All right. And so, hey, um, can I wave like, oh, okay, I see that. I see now who you are. Hey, good evening, Lisa. It's good to have you with me. It's good to have you with me. So listen, do me a favor as you all are jumping in, go ahead and let me know. Hey, type your name in. Hey, Tanisha, my superstar girlfriend. I am super excited tonight because tonight I'm going to tell you how to avoid attracting things in your life that you just do not want. All right, that you just don't want. You know, things that you say, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this, I don't want that. Then I'm going to go ahead and help you how to make sure that you avoid doing that. And on the flip side, I'm going to show you how to attract in your life everything that you want. So again, hey Charmaine, thank you. If you all haven't already done so, do me a favor, share the broadcast because it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. You're going to laugh at yourself, and it's okay because my mentor said, LaShonda, don't take yourself so seriously because nobody else does, right? And he wasn't saying, trying to diminish me. He was just saying, hey, listen, LaShonda, lighten up, right? And so that's what tonight is all about. I want to have some fun with you, okay? I want to have fun. I love having fun. I'm a people-oriented person. And so tonight, like I said, I want to help you attract I want to help you not attract, or I want to help you avoid what you don't want in your life. And so after tonight, you will be motivated to make a decision. Hey, to be average or not to be. That's the decision you're going to have to make tonight, to be average or not to be. The question is, what will you choose? And so for those of you who are new to my platform, my name is LaShonda Lee. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mother. I'm a pastor's wife. I'm a first lady. I'm a coach, and I'm a leadership expert, right? And my passion is seeing women become their beautiful, authentic self. And my contribution in making that happen is to help women who struggle with getting unstuck discover resilience so they own their brilliance and live their life free from fear, free from guilt, and free from apologies. And so whether the stuck is spiritual, whether it's personal or professional, I create unique action plans to help women get from where they are to where they want to be so they can experience this happiness and this success and this total fulfillment in life. Let me tell you, it's possible, right? This week, we've seen that there's no such thing as impossibility. Everything is possible. And so let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Grab something to write with, grab something to write on. Don't trust a short pencil. But if you don't have anything, do me a favor, type the information or the tips that I'm going to give you tonight, type it into the comments because there are going to be some people looking at replay. And so your comments are going to help them. So again, I want you to share this broadcast if you haven't done so. That's what you could do for me. Okay, I'm gonna deliver to you. So what you can do for me is just share the broadcast. So here's the thing. If you want an average life, let me tell you something about average. Average is the best of the worst, but the worst of the best. So just imagine that you have a number line from 1 to 10. So average would be 5, right? And so if you are a number 5, you're better than 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're the best of the worst. but you're less than 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're the worst of the best. There's nothing cute about being average. And so, again, if you want an average life, copy the masses. Copy the masses. My mentor said, LaShonda, don't buy everybody's opinion, because if they don't have your lifestyle, let their opinion stay right where it is. So if you want an average life, copy the masses. If you want an extraordinary life, or extraordinary, the way some people say it, then you know what? This is what you got to do. When they zig, you zag. Or if they zag, you got to zig. All right. And so the path to success requires going against the norm. Some of you have already been in this space. You going against the norm. It requires you to do the unpopular thing, the unreasonable thing, and the unorthodox thing at some times. Moreover, it requires being the exception to the rule. I love being the exception to the rule, and not following standards and accepted practices and traditions and rituals. You know, I want to grow beyond that. As a matter of fact, my husband and I went on a cruise, and this gentleman, him and his wife, was a part of the cruise. We did not know that he co-authored a book with Jack Canfield. Y'all know Jack Canfield, right? The man who created all of the chicken soup for the soul and all of that kind of stuff. So me and my husband, we're just enjoying this couple. And then, like, as the cruise is ended, then they let us know that they were basically millionaires, right? But they sent us a lot of books. And one of the books that we were sent was this one called Dare to Succeed. And it's the secrets to success in business and in life, and dare to succeed. So what am I saying? If you're going to be successful in your business, in your life, in your endeavors, you are going to have to be the exception to the rule, and you're going to have to go besides the norm. Because again, one of my mentors said, LaShonda, if you see the masses going north, make it your business to go south. And what he was telling me is he was suggesting that I do the opposite. You know, going and doing the opposite suggests that the only way you will ever achieve the success that you desire to create in your life is to walk a different path than the masses. So in other words, it means to do the opposite of the average person. You don't want to do what the average person does, because if you do what the average person does, you're going to get the average results. So zig when others zag. And so if this is going to be your path, there are two questions I want you to kind of start asking yourself consistently, because it's going to help you. And you could type in these two questions. If you're going to choose to go against the grain, if you're going to choose the path that is going to end up to success, you must be consistently asking yourself these two questions. And the first question is, you must say, what does the majority typically do in this situation? So anytime you're faced with a situation, a circumstance, or a problem, you have to immediately ask yourself, what do the majority typically do in this situation? Because if the majority do that, that's not what you want to do. So if you got a situation where maybe something isn't going the way you want it on the job, you may ask yourself, what do the majority do? Well, the majority probably complain. You can't do that. You can't do that, because you're going against what the average do. Does that make sense? You can't do that. You can't do that. All right. Here's the second question. So the first question is, what does the majority typically do in this situation? Thank you, Lisa, over there in YouTube. So just so you know, we're streaming from different platforms tonight. We're on Twitter, we're on Periscope, we are on YouTube, and we are on Facebook. Okay. So you can connect in any of those platforms. The second question that you have to ask yourself is, what results do these people normally get in this situation? So one is, what do the majority typically do? And what is the result that they normally get in this situation? So let's go back to the workplace. If the typical person or the majority, they complain, then maybe the results is no raise, no promotion. They're not looked at as a leader, right? Because leaders don't complain. They don't get credibility. They don't get respect. They can't influence. So, hey, when you begin to just kind of get out of your emotion and just look at the logic of the thing, it'll be easy for you to change your behavior, because you'll be telling yourself, I ain't trying to do what the average people do, because if I do what the average person does, I'm going to get what the average person get. And my mentor said, LaShawn, to do the things today that others won't so you can have tomorrow what others don't. And so you see, I'm going through this fast, but I don't want to go through it fast. So here's the thing. If the answer is less than desirable, then the choice is simple. Choose to do the opposite, and possibly you will get the desired results that many fail to realize. And so tonight, I just want to explore the typical choices that people make and the behaviors that they normally indulge in that get them very average results in life. So when you ask those two questions, what would the typical person, what would the majority do in this situation, and what is their results? I want to help you avoid doing that. So I'm going to introduce to you some choices that the typical person does. I want you to avoid those, okay? All right. And so, again, we're not doing average. So my goal tonight is to make you aware. And I believe once you become aware of how the average person thinks and how the average person lives their life, then you can make a different set of choices to help you live a more optimal, successful, and rewarding existence. Now, I got to tell you, there are 16 choices that I want to deliver to you, but I'm not doing it all tonight. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to do half today and I'll do half tomorrow. Okay. So I'll do 8 today and I'll do 8 tomorrow. Okay. So make sure that you are following me and make sure that you're getting notifications when I go live. And so sidebar, those of you who join me in the mornings, you know that I use 100% of my time discussing spiritual development because that's a major component to my personal success, as well as those who I have played a major role in them gaining success. But I did promise you all that I would be incorporating some personal development and professional development topics, such as the one we're talking about tonight. These topics I'm going to start doing in the evening time. So again, make sure you're following me. Make sure you get the notifications when I go live, and then share the broadcast with others. And so as I go through these choices tonight, I want you to identify those that have kept you back. So let's get after it. All right. Now, I'm coming out hard with you. I'm coming out hard, and then it's going to soften up. So I'm believing I have permission to be honest with you tonight, because I believe you want to be stellar and not average. So here's number one. Here's number one. Type it in, whether you're on YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook. Here's number one. Most people choose laziness over effort. I told you I was coming out hard. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. I told you I was coming out hard. The average person is just downright lazy. Average. That may not be you. I'm just telling you what the average person is downright lazy. Whenever possible, they will take the easiest road with the least amount of resistance. The easiest road with the least amount of resistance. And as a result, they don't grow, they don't change, and they don't challenge themselves in new ways. Okay, Ebony said, truth. Okay. So the average person, of course, can I tell you, they got goals. The average person, they got aspirations. I got to just put that up there. Okay. Those of you who are on Periscope, Ebony said truth. They just downright lazy. Okay. So now let me get back. I just had to show that. And Tanisha, thank you so much for putting it up there. Okay. Most people just choose some dang on laziness. Come on now. The Bible even tells us don't be lazy. But they got goals, they got aspirations, but they're not willing to make the necessary sacrifices to achieve those objectives. They are simply not willing to pay the price for success. Let me tell you, success is paid in full and it's paid in advance. Try to go to the grocery store and walk out there with a gallon of milk and you didn't pay for it before you left the store. Same concept. You're not going to get success until you pay for it in advance and you pay for it in full. But they're not willing to pay the price. And so whenever we face resistance, we grow. Whenever you look, like they say, fear, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's what you do in the face of it. So when you face resistance, you grow. And subsequently, it shapes your character, man. So we strengthen our emotional resilience and literally become a better person or a better version of ourselves when we face it. But the average person, they simply don't care enough. Yes, they desire to change along with the best things that life has to offer, but unfortunately, they simply won't discipline themselves and commit themselves to make the necessary changes. And change, of course, requires consistent effort. You ain't doing it today and not tomorrow. You ain't doing it on Monday and then get back at it another Monday. No. And so, which the average person is simply not willing to give. So, what is Coach LaShonda's advice? I'm glad you asked. Do the opposite. Do the opposite. Commit yourself. So instead of choosing laziness, instead of choosing the path of least resistance, my advice to you is just to commit yourself towards taking daily consistent actions to change your life. You know, they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So if you're looking at 1 month, that's 30 days, which would mean 30 apples. Now, if you eat one apple a day, that's so easy to do. It's consistent. You get the benefits. It's nothing that's stretching you all out of your comfort zone too much. That's easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. And so the average person, let me tell you what they're going to do. They're going to say, oh, today is the 30th day. Let me go get this bag of apples. If you try to eat 30 apples in one day, you're going to need the doctor. So it defeats the purpose. So I'm telling you, commit yourself towards taking consistent daily actions to change your life. And moreover, challenge yourself to go the extra mile to get things done. Don't be the person talking about, you know what, if they pay me more, I'll do more. No, do more so you can get paid more. Do the thing to get the power. All right, I'm done with that one. Point number two, choice number two. Most people choose to press the snooze button. I have been guilty of this. I've been guilty of this. I've been guilty of this. Have you been guilty of this? Pressing the snooze button. Most people choose to press the snooze button. So, laziness. Here we go again. For the laziness for most people begins the first thing in the morning. Because, see, like tonight, you probably wired up. Like I'm wired up. Can you tell I'm wired up? I'm really wired up. Okay. But laziness for most people, it begins the first thing in the morning when they choose to press that snooze button. Mm-hmm. And Charmaine said, me too. The average person. Now, so we don't want average. So let me tell you what the average person does. The average person will choose to press the snooze button to get an extra few minutes of broken sleep. Broken sleep. How can you really get rest in this broken sleep? It does nothing for you. It does nothing for me. All it does is delay the inevitable, and that holds you back from getting your day started on the right track. And so when they do get up, they do so with distaste. Moreover, they absolutely dread their morning routine. However, for other people who are not average, their morning routine is empowering and inspiring. Your morning routine is everything. These people make an effort to get their day started in the right way. Let me tell you what successful people do in the morning. They exercise, they meditate, they goal set, and they visualize. That's what successful people do in the morning. They exercise. I didn't say 2 hours. Man, do something. Do something. Get your body moving. Do some jumping jacks. If you got a treadmill, like I got a treadmill, I got stuff over here, you know, like a jungle gym over there, the things that you put in the door, close the door, that thing. I got the treadmill over there. I got the bicycle right there. I got weights and, you know, all these things. Do something. Exercise, meditate, goal set, and visualize. Even if you just goal set for the day, what do I want to get accomplished today? Then visualize, close your eyes, visualize yourself doing it. Visualize yourself doing it, right? And so what is Coach LaShonda's advice? Do the opposite of the snooze pressers. Get up immediately. When that clock go off, get up immediately and jump right into your morning routine with enthusiasm. With enthusiasm. All right, jump right into it, because guess what? Your enemy is the one that want to keep you in the bed, because the longer it takes you to get your day started, the more moments and seconds are passing you by. You and I get 82,400 seconds a day. How are we utilizing them? So do the opposite. Point number three. Point number three. Most people dislike their job. I mean, hey, that's real. For the average person, point number three, most people dislike their job, but we're going to flip this, okay? We're going to flip this. For the average person, getting up first thing in the morning is painful, but it gets worse when they realize it's not Sunday. It's Monday, right? The average person goes to work to make a living, but their career choice does not help them create a life. So they feel like slaves to their job and to their boss. They don't like going to work and certainly don't enjoy their morning commute. You know what? When I teach support staff and leaders, there are 10 key actions that every employer love that make an employee indispensable. You got to have a voice in your job. And so if that's something you want, I want you to type in the comments, say, LaShonda, I want those 10 key actions. And so here's the thing. Most people don't like getting up, going to the job that they don't like going to. They will make every excuse in the book to stay at home and make full use of their sick days. You've heard it, call in slick. If only every day was a Sunday, right? That's what their thoughts is. If every day was a Sunday, but that's not a reality. Okay. So most people just really dislike their job, so they allow it to drain them and take their energy away. And so what is Coach LaShonda's advice? Because see, that's the average person. Every point in our life it should be used as a stepping stone. So right now, your job is still a stepping stone. But if you don't see it as a stepping stone, but instead see it as a mountain, you may not learn the lessons that God wants you to get from that job. There are jobs that I've worked that I've learned lessons that have helped me to become an entrepreneur. And so what am I telling you? What is Coach LaShonda's advice? I want you to do the opposite. I want you to find reasons to love your work. I want you to find reasons to love your work, or just change your career path and focus on something that you're really passionate about. And you might be saying, Coach LaShonda, thus far, these are just very simple. These little you gave us 3 points and they've been very simple. Guess what? I know. And that's why they are so detrimental, because when people engage in them, they seem so meaningless until you realize that you're stagnant and you're not, and you are regressing in life instead of progressing. So point number 4. Most people have very little focus. They all over the place. They all over the place. They all over the place. The average person lacks direction in life. They simply have no focus, no purpose, and no passionate goals that get them out of bed in the morning. And this is one of the main reasons why they have a tendency to make lazy choices throughout the day. The average, remember, we're not trying to be average, be allergic to average. The average person just doesn't live with enough urgency. And without urgency, there is a lack of focus and direction. It just feels easy not to make an effort, not to take a chance, and not to make that tough choice, right? There is simply no motivation, no self-discipline, and no enthusiasm to make positive improvements and changes that could potentially transform their life for the better. Let me give you a story. My son, he's 19. He works for a company, and he started getting weary with his company because he said it wasn't challenging his mind. My son is a thinker, and he said it wasn't challenging his mind. But this company pays him extremely well. But he's Generation Z, and as you know, money don't keep them at a job. They want to be challenged. They want multiple tasks. And so my son had a conversation with me a morning before he was going to work. He wasn't even going to go. And so we had a conversation, and I love talking with my son. And we had this conversation, and I was asking him, you know, about his thought process and different things. And did he take things into consideration? And we prayed. I said, I'm going to pray. And then I want you to have your own conversation with God. And whatever you feel God is telling you to do, that's what you do. Because I'm not going to advocate him go against that soft, still voice of God in him. And so he decided to go to work. And later on that day, he said, Mom, God spoke to me right before I had to get off of work. And he said, I'm going to stick in there. Guess what? Last week, my son was approached and he was asked, hey, would you be interested in being trained for 2 new positions? Both of them are analytical. Both of them are analytical positions. He's been trained. He started the training last week, and he's still in training this week. And he is so excited about it. He got all these new accesses. He see the whole system. I mean, he's super excited about it. And so what I'm saying to you is get focused on what you want. Because he knew what he didn't want, it allowed, and he was able to articulate it to me, it allowed me to shift his thinking to now focus on what you do want. We prayed over it. He got in tune with it, and then God gave him exactly what he asked for. He gave him one of the positions he wanted training in, but he didn't even know anything about the second position, and they got him in both of them. All right. So I'm just saying, look, there is simply no motivation for people who don't have purpose, no self-discipline, no enthusiasm to make positive improvements and changes that could potentially transform their life for the better. You can't be that person. Average people do that. So what is Coach LaShonda's advice? Commit yourself to staying focused on your main goals and objectives, and challenge yourself to live with more urgency. Here's number 5. We only got 3 more to go. Number 5, most people spend their spare time on mindless activities. Their spare time on mindless activities with little focus. Let me tell you, the average person is constantly distracted by mundane things. That's not going to help them get from here to there. And as a result, they choose to spend their free time on mindless activities such as watching television. Now, I ain't saying nothing wrong with watching television, but check this out. You watch a show. From beginning to the ending, you watch the show. You done recorded it, so you watch it again. Ain't nothing gonna change that second time. Ain't nothing gonna change. Nothing gonna change. Or let's say you was at work, you DVR'd it, if they still doing that. You come home and you watch it, and then the next day you decide to watch it again. Ain't nothing gonna change. What you saw day 1 is gonna be the same thing day 2. That's mundane. That's a waste of time, right? And so, like, watching television, reading the news. Now, this week I got caught up in the news. And I had to check myself. All right. I had to check myself because I was like, you know what? I'm going to spend several hours watching this news. And they keep saying the same thing. I had to check myself. Surfing the web or gossiping about other people's problems and the latest celebrity stuff. See, that's mundane stuff. That ain't going to get you nowhere. It could be said that the average person simply doesn't value their time. Time goes into 3 places. You can write this down. You either spend time, invest time, or waste time. So if you are losing track of your time, I want you to start identifying, what did you do today? Write it out. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. Now, on the right-hand side, I want you to put a W if that was wasted time, a S if that was spent time, and an I if that was invested time. Invested time is going to render you a return, okay? And so, like I said, it could be said that the average person simply don't value their time, but they have just as much time as everyone else, and yet they choose to spend it on activities that provide them no long-term gain. So what is Coach LaShonda's advice? Do the opposite. I keep saying it, do the opposite. Choose to prioritize your time around the most important goals, and then stay focused and productive as you work on them throughout the day. You hear me? What's priority? And then choose to be focused and productive as you go throughout the day. You want to be able to end your day with like, oh man, I did that today was awesome. Point number 6, most people live day to day. They live day to day. The average person lives day to day with little regard or thoughts about the future. And yes, they have hopes and dreams of a better life someday. But last time I checked, someday wasn't on the calendar. However, the choices that they make in the present moment are simply not aligned with those long-term visions, right? So you got hopes and dreams, but if what you do to now is not in alignment with the hopes and dreams, you know you ain't getting there. You're not getting there. The average person will never achieve their vision because they easily fall prey to instant gratification. They choose fleeting moments of pleasure instead of making the necessary sacrifices to help them fulfill their vision, right? The average person lives day to day trying to make the most of every moment while at the same time disregarding the future impact, right? Just the future impact of the choices and decisions they make. And so as a result, guess what? They rarely commit themselves to long-term development and self-improvement. You know, I was told self-improvement is the basis for development. I was told that your income level matches your self-improvement. When I used to do network marketing, they used to hammer this in there. They used to say, let me tell you, your income is going to match your personal development. So, of course, that made us really want to get hard in personal development if our income was attached to it. All right. So if something doesn't give this type of person instant results in the moment, then they will most likely end up choosing something else instead. They all over the place. So what is Coach LaShonda's advice? Develop a plan of action for your life and your career and commit yourself to becoming a lifelong learner. A lifelong learner. I tell the ladies when I train, you know, in corporate development and corporate executives, I tell them, listen, commit to being a learner. Never assume you know everything. All right. Point number 7, 2 more to go, and then y'all can go. Most people leave things for the last minute. Yeah. The average person tries to avoid anything and everything that is distasteful for as long as possible. You know, have you ever been that one trying to put things off? So, you know, as I'm going through these, I want you to identify which one got you. This ain't just for you to hear me. This is for you to identify if any of these is trapping you and you didn't even realize it, right? And so, in other words, they procrastinate. You know, when I used to be here too. My mentor said, LaShonda, procrastination is an assassination to your destination. It rhymed. So these people procrastinate and they draw things out indefinitely until the pain of not doing something is more hurtful than simply getting the job done. You know, my sister has this little statement she always says. She said the lazy work twice. She said the lazy work twice. And so with this in mind, it's easy to see how the average person often leaves things for the last minute. They will, of course, tell you that they thrive under pressure situations. Have you heard that? Oh, I love the adrenaline. But the real truth is they got so caught up and sucked into indulging in fleeting pleasure that they completely mismanaged their priorities. They don't like the adrenaline. They misprioritize. They mismanage their priorities. Point blank, period. Don't fall for the okie doke. Along the same lines, the average person will often ignore their problems until these problems get completely out of hand. And they just hoped that things would just go away. But the problem just hung around like a bad smell until it became impossible to ignore. And so for this, what is Coach LaShonda's advice? Choose to take massive action. So you're doing the opposite of the average. Choose to take massive action to get things done and challenge yourself to tackle your life's problems early before they get out of hand. Early before they get out of hand. Early before they get out of hand. When I first started hearing about COVID, I started declaring Psalms 91 and Psalms 91 over my family right away. I started declaring uh First Peter 2:24 over my family. I just started declaring that we will never be sick another day of our lives. That sickness, ill-affecting germ, disease, and bacteria and virus and infirmity can come near our dwelling. I got this thing. Now it's out of control in the world, but it ain't out of control in the Lee's household. No, because we jump on that thing, right? We jump on that thing. And at the end of the day, God only needs your faith. He only needs your faith. All right. And so again, choose to take massive action, right? And those of you who are in Elevate Her, next Saturday is basically our last Saturday. We've been on this thing for 6 months. And so next Saturday, I am going to do a workshop with you all called Design Your Destiny. So that's going to be next Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you're in the group. Of course, it's going to be Zoom because I'm going to use PowerPoint. I'm going to need about 2 hours because I'm going to take you. You're not going to wait till January to start having momentum for 2021. No, I want you right now, this month, to begin to get the momentum you need. So you're going to thrust into January. You're going to thrust into January with momentum. Okay. And then December, I think I'm going to do a challenge for everybody. All right. So take massive action to get things done and challenge yourself. Number 8, the last one for today. I'm going to do the other 8 tomorrow, but the last one for today. Most people shy away from responsibility. Most people shy away from responsibility. Hey, have y'all shared this broadcast? Because I've been pouring out. If you haven't, then go ahead, do it now. Because people can catch the replay and I'm still live. So they might be able to get some of the good stuff, yummy stuff. Point number 8 again, most people shy away from responsibility. The average person consistently shies away from responsibility. Responsibility is a burden and it requires work. It's a burden, it requires work. I work within the audiovisual department at my church. So every week I have to have the registration together for people to register. Every week I have to have flyers. Every week I have to know what the pastor's sermon is going to be, what scriptures, so I can put it in a software so it can go up. Every week I have to be there to start the social media so that people who live all around this country can be a part of Sunday school. That's responsibility. It's work. Every week I got to make sure everything is charged up. It is working right. It's responsibility, right? And I don't call it a burden, but to some, responsibility is a burden and it requires work. It requires a person to commit to something, which obligates them to other people or towards fulfilling certain tasks. And because the average person is lazy, like we said in point number 1, they simply don't want the burden of extra responsibilities on their shoulders. But I am reminded that the Bible says that the chastisement, see, I said I was going to just do personal and professional development in the evening time, but it's coming out, right? The Bible says that the chastisement of our peace was upon Jesus' shoulders. So the weight of our peace, the weight of our salvation was on his shoulders. And so, yes, it can be responsibility is extra, it's weight on your shoulders. It is what it is, right? But beneath the surface, though, the average person is really petrified of failure and they're petrified of making mistakes. And they tend not to commit to things that are uncertain. I can't even tell you how many mistakes I made. I don't like making them, but I done made them. And I don't fear making them because even John C. Maxwell has a book called Failing Forward, right? So with that in mind, They don't commit themselves at times, but they're and if they do, their commitment is weak and filled with hesitation. I don't know, can I get back with you? I don't, girl. What you say you want me to do again? I don't even want nobody like that on my team. And so here's the thing, the moment an obstacle arrives, they immediately break all their commitments and make a run in the other direction. They leave you hanging. That's why I ain't trying to convince you. If I got to convince you to get started, I'm going to have to convince you to keep it going. And I'm not into that. I'm not into that. And so, what is Coach LaShonda's advice for the eighth uh, choice? The topic, or yeah, the choice, like I said. Again, I want you to do the opposite. My advice is for you to challenge yourself to embrace uncertainty. Brace uncertainty and commit yourself to taking responsibility for everything that matters in your life. Take responsibility for everything that matters in your life. I remember a few months ago, Sister Tanisha, I hope she's still on. And that could have been last year. I think it was really last year. She made a commitment that she was going to become fit and muscular and in the best shape of her life. She made a commitment to that, right? She made a commitment. Not only did she make a commitment, she took responsibility. Now she looks amazing. She looks so amazing. But you know what? You see pictures of her in the gym. You see pictures of her with a totally different wardrobe on. And it's not that she's trying to show, all her goods and stuff like that. It's just the fact that she's going a different size, so she had to get different clothes, and she looks amazing. She looks amazing from the top all the way to the bottom. She made a commitment. She took responsibility because that mattered in her life. And I know, without her telling me, I know she has inspired some people. I know she has inspired some people. I know you feel good about yourself because she kept her commitment. Let me tell you something. Whenever you make a commitment to yourself and then you break it, that makes it harder for you to do it the next time. Do not get in the habit of breaking commitments with yourself. Don't get in the habit. Are you welcome, sis? She's still on there, y'all. She's still on there. she's been doing an amazing job. She looks fantastic. So you take responsibility for everything that matters in your life. You want to have a greater relationship with God? Take responsibility. You want to have a greater personal life? Take responsibility. You want to have a better professional life? Take responsibility. Can't nobody hold you back but you. Can't nobody. God didn't even give anybody else that type of authority to hold you back unless you let them. All right? And so look, we have covered the first 8, and my goal is to complete the other 8 tomorrow. Okay, so I hope y'all can join me. But let me say this, everything that we have discussed here comes down to one simple yet profound decision that most people make over and over and over again throughout their day. And that decision comes down to whether or not you make your decisions based on feeling or logic. Which one rules? If feelings rule, you're going to be in that average space. If logic rules, you're going to be beyond average. You're going to be excellent. And excellence is doing the best that you can at that moment. So the average person makes decisions on how they feel. They make decisions based on what feels comfortable at that moment rather than on what's most important or best for them in the long run. In other words, they make decisions purely on satisfying their emotional cravings rather than using logic to make smarter choices throughout the day. And so, if there is one thing to take away from these 8, is that you always have a choice. You can either choose to be average and thereby live an average and unsatisfying life. I know those sound ugly. They ugly words, right? I want them to sound ugly. I want them to sound ugly. I don't want you to, to settle for average and an unsatisfying life. Or you could choose an alternate path for yourself. You can instead choose to do the opposite of average and begin making decisions based on what's most important for you in the long run. Um, Only in this way can you and me and us and we turn an average existence into an extraordinary life. Take a look. My VP looks like me. hmm So it's choices. It's choices. It's choices. All right. And so I pray that not only will you hear, but do, so that you can begin to break any cycles or any chains that is keeping you from experiencing that abundant life. All right. And so I pray that this has been worth your time, your investment of your time. This was an investment. You wasn't spending time here tonight with me. You wasn't wasting time here tonight with me. This was an investment because I have given you something that can help you go from where you are to where you really want to be. All right. So get your return from this investment of your time. All right. And so again, um, oh, thank you. Thank you, Tanisha. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to go through y'all comments, okay? Marquita said, can't nobody hold you back but again, take responsibility for our lives. And so, um, again, do me a favor and just share this broadcast. And you can come up with your own caption at the top that you think after, if you wish to sum up what you got, put it as the caption so that when you share it, people will be prone and motivated to click on it. So again, share the broadcast. If you don't already follow my LaShonda Lee personal page, but also go over to my Walk in Favor page because I am now approaching the 5,000. I think I'm just like 20 people away from 5,000. And after that, I can't get any more. So you can follow the page. But if you go over to my business page, Walk in Favor, of course, if you're on Facebook, I'll be able to get more over there. And so I think I may start shifting and do my spiritual development on my personal page, but all of the personal development and professional development stuff I may do on my Walk in Favor page. Okay. So make sure you follow both and get the notification. And so turn on the notification so that you can get that ding when I go live. And again, join me tomorrow for part 2. All right. Join me tomorrow for part 2 because I'm going to give you 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. All right. And then tomorrow I got something that I want you to help me with. God gave me this assignment November 30th of 2015. And I'll share with you tomorrow why I'm it's November 2020. Okay. So 5 years ago. Um, and so he spoke to me yesterday. He was like, that work wasn't in vain. And so I'm back on it. And so tomorrow at the conclusion, I want to elicit your help because I want you to be a part of the project that he gave me 5 years ago. And I did get started, but doubt and fear held me back. And I thank God that he never gives up on us. Even when we give up on ourselves, he never gives up. And so yesterday I was sitting quiet with him and he reminded me of it. I had forgotten about it. But I always say, Lord, if there's something you have told me to do and I've forgotten it, please bring it to my remembrance because I don't want to be disobedient. And he reminded me yesterday, and I'm so fired up about it. So I want to share it with you tomorrow. So join me tomorrow because I want you to be a part of it. Okay. So listen, God bless you. Have an incredible evening. It's still time to catch some football if you want to watch football with your family. But look over these 1 through 8 and and make sure that you're not doing the average thing, but you're doing the excellent thing. All right. All right. So I love you. God bless you. And may heaven's face continue to shine on you. And I pray that God blesses you with sweet sleep and sweet rest tonight. Bye bye.